Okay, in this video we're going to talk about CSS Updater. CSS Updater is a plugin for Firebug. It works only in Firefox, and essentially it allows you to actually, as you're making edits in Firebug, you can save those changes to your actual CSS files. It updates on the fly, and that's really cool. So we'll get started. Essentially you need 4 elements. Firebug being, of course, the bare minimum. You need the CSS Updater add-on that goes into Firebug, and I'll show you where these things are in a moment. Adobe Air, which is a mobile synchronization application that the developer of this project has used to kind of bridge between Firebug and his application, and essentially allows those updates to happen. And then the CSS Updater page is where you get a standalone application that kind of manages your projects. So with that said, we'll start with the beginning. The basics you need. You need to have Firebug. So if you don't have Firebug installed in your Firefox, go ahead and click on that, and that will load that into your Firefox, and you'll have Firebug. For the purposes of this demonstration, I've actually already set up all these things, so you don't want to watch me downloading things, so we'll just go ahead and skip past, and I'll just show you where things are. The second one, the Adobe Air, the bridge between the two systems. This one, again, you just hit the download. This one you don't have to do anything except allow it to load. It actually runs in the background, and the Updater application manages it for you. So once you have it installed, you don't have to worry about it ever again. And then the third element you need is the CSS Updater plugin. You go to the plugins page. Actually, these are all linked here, so you come to these exact pages that I'm showing you right now. So if you click these, you will get to where I am right now. And so you go ahead and add that to Firefox. And that sets up your actual Firefox installation. In the Add-ons Manager, you should see CSS Updater. You should see Firebug. And then Adobe Air, of course, is running in the background, so you don't need to worry about that at all. So as long as these are up, highlighted, and running, you're all good to go. So then you go to this CSS Updater page, and the developer has required that you register for this product. So you can either roll down here to the register, download, install right now free link, or it actually just pops you down here to this registration block. You can go ahead and do that. You have to put in a username, 2 passwords, your email, and make sure it's a good email because it's actually going to be sending you a registration key and a link to the downloader. And then, of course, the little CAPTCHA, and submit. And in a minute or two, you should be getting an email to whatever email account you sent that to. And that gets you pretty much where you need to be. So just to review, if you have these things loaded, and then once you download the application and you have done the installation and put in the registration key and all the normal stuff that you would do, you'll get this little CSS Updater icon down here. And what you do is you just go ahead and click on that, and that'll bring up this interface here. It requires that you set up a project. So I just set up a project named Project. The free version only allows you to have 1 project, but you can relink your CSS files to anything, so this is kind of irrelevant. It also allows FTP access. However, Ned is not FTP, it's SFTP, so I was not able to actually get this connected to Ned, which is unfortunate because that would be really cool. But essentially, the normal stuff, you put in your host name, leave the port alone, username and password for your credentials on the server that you're trying to get to, and then hit the connection thing and it'll connect you and you're off and running. We're not going to do that. We're going to actually work with local files. So I add local files, navigate to where my CSS style sheets are for the project that I want to work on. And in this case, there are 4 style sheets that are associated with this program. And you can load every single one of these into the application, and then you can edit on the fly every single one of these in the application. So we'll go ahead and add those. It takes a second to pop up, and those are there. And we go back to Firefox, and I just pulled up a goofy project that I did for the HTML5 class. It's a little flashy and wild, and so just ignore the content, and essentially we're going to look at the functionality of the updater. So there's this little tab here that says CSS Updater. You click that, and this is actually already running, so I've tested a few things, so it's got that. But click the test connection, and look at that. We got a successful connection to our port, and we're up and running. So the normal stuff you do with Firebug. This is the selector icon if you haven't used Firebug before. And what you do is you can just scroll over all the elements in a page, and the ones that it highlights, you can see that it is moving the CSS around down here, and those are elements you can edit. So let's just take the top element here. It's H1 tag. Here are all the CSS elements assigned to that particular element. So just for fun, let's just change the color to yellow. And look at that. Firebug does this. Now, normally what would happen is you hit refresh, and your changes go away. They do not persist. However, we do that again, and we go over here, and there is a Sync Now button, and that will make those changes persist. So we've synced that. We can go to the CSS Updater. It says that it executed it. And if we go to this, it shows that that element has been, oh, that's a previous element. Anyways, that's not important. Sync that item. And it does allow you one level of undo. So if you do something crazy and it's the last thing that you did and you decide that you didn't want to sync it, you can actually reverse out of those. So we go back here and we break, and we see that the changes has actually persisted. Just to show you, these tab elements are actually in a different CSS file than the original one. We did styles CSS first. This is rounded CSS, and this one we can actually edit too. So we can take that, and you see we've got a more radically rounded curve on this element here, and we go ahead and we synchronize that, and we go over here and it is all happy. And if we hit refresh, you can see that change has persisted, and that's going to be there forever now until you decide to change it back. Let's go ahead and roll that back. So here it is. It pulls up that element and says that we're rolling it back. Synchronize that and refresh here, and nothing happened. Yeah, that's okay. So it's probably easier just to edit it from this interface. Anyways, I've had that rollback work fine before, and it's not a problem. So we just change that back to where we were. And you can see that the element has reshaped itself. We synchronize, and we refresh, and our change is still there. So you can do this with multiple style sheets. You can do this with as many elements as you want. You can actually stack elements. So if you want to do multiple changes all at once, we can say we want this to be white again, and maybe we only want this to be 25 pixels. And so we've made those changes. There's 2 changes this time. We synchronize that. We refresh. And it is what we just did. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I hope you enjoy this. It's really, really cool, and I think it's really, really helpful. It's easy to use with local projects. Hopefully, if you have access to an FTP site, you can test it with that. Like I said, I was not able to get that working, but that would be ultimately cool if that would work. And that's all I've got. Have a nice day. Bye.